I'm Felina.
And I'm Summer.
And you are listening to Broken Broken.
Because we're both.
The podcast about living your best life by getting real. What's up, broken people? This is Felina.
And this is Summer.
And we decided to go video post for this one because I feel like ass and I've had a fibromyalgia flare up the last week. And so I'm destigmatizing looking like swollen shit when you don't feel well. And, I've been multitasking because I still have to get all my shit done.
Right.
So I was doing and probably will continue to do some yoga stretches as we do this podcast because Summer and I both worked full days in our day jobs, and we're just trying to do something different to get out of the 9 to 5 that rat race that is our hell of lives. And so anyway, I'm rambling.
And I feel kind of bad that she's like gonna be all empowered with no makeup because I'm wearing a full face of makeup because that came straight from an audition.
Summer auditions for things. She's so impressive. We do so many things.
We do whatever we can for extra money.
That's basically what it boils down to. We're just trying to make some cash. We're not gonna lie.
I'm not a real actor. I just need money.
I know. Anytime somebody says that they're doing something, I'm like, really? I want to do that. Can I make money at that? I want to do that too. I think I can do that. Like, that's always my first.
Right? It's like, I don't do speaking roles. I can just hang out in the background, like extras. Like, you don't even have to put me in the actual final product. As long as I got that check that day, I'm good.
Yeah, we don't care.
This is not my career.
Edit us out. We don't care. Just do we get paid?
Exactly.
That's what
this is not
about.
My career. So put the real actors up front. Just pay me for the day.
Yeah, and I'm sure that we are more fortunate than some other people.
Oh, absolutely.
I know that I am. But this episode is on about the difficulties of being a woman.
Realities of womanhood.
The extra challenges that we have. And it's a lot. So.
It is, yes. I wanted to do this because I was having a conversation a few days ago with a man, which is usually your first mistake. Don't do that.
Don't talk to them.
I'm just kidding. So I don't know how we got there. I say that a lot about my conversations. I don't know how they get to the points that they do.
What do you mean when you say there?
Well, what happened was he said something about, you do all this fighting for equality, but you realize that will be the death of chivalry. And now I'm driving at the time, so I'm just like, okay, so what does that mean? And he's like, well, if we're all equal, like, why would you be like holding doors open for you and doing all those other nice things that you guys like? And then you're gonna be mad because we don't do those. And so I got quiet for a minute, and I'm just thinking about this. I said, you know what? I'll settle for you guys to stop beating on us, raping us, and killing us, and I'll hold my own goddamn door. And he got real quiet because I don't think it ever occurred to him and it doesn't for a lot of men. Like, they don't get what going through life as a woman is like because they've never had to do it. Like, I think they think all these horrible things are like isolated events that rarely happen.
They're like, oh, I have a female friend who had that happen to her. Right. I'm like, that's just the one female that happened to trust you enough to tell you.
Exactly.
Like, every other female that you aren't necessarily that close to, or, it just doesn't want to tell you, they probably have experienced something similar.
Right.
Or some other trauma, that is man on woman controlling type violence.
Right, like what man has to think about before they go out their door to go for a walk or to go out, like, basic safety, like how do I not get killed when I leave my front door? We have to think about that every day.
Yeah.
And they don't. Do they think we're exaggerating this?
I don't know. I wish that we were on live right now and people
we should have done that.
Watched this.
Right.
So they could pay attention. We're gonna pause and we're gonna switch formats. Hello.
Hi.
You look cute.
What are you guys
We're we're being stupid.
It's what we do best.
We're doing
Are you screen recording?
I'm going to screen record.
Okay.
I think maybe
I have no idea.
I don't know. Hang on a second. I gotta turn on the screen recorder. Oh, you stupid.
Okay, we are tech challenged.
Now, okay, it should be recording. Let me double check.
How do you check? Because it won't.
It will. Yeah, it's
there
recording.
You go.
Okay.
So we've got issues.
There we go. So we'll edit that out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, we just had another episode, and we got onto the rant of just how difficult it is to face like the same challenges as men, but as women, as single mothers. Our interview before you was a single mom as well. And yeah, so we just started ranting about.
Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. As we do.
Yeah, because like that's the only way to survive is to turn everything into a joke.
I know, we're on a group text message. I know this.
Right. And I'm like such a hot mess tonight. I was texting you earlier, and I had just gotten off work at 7 or like 6:45. I hadn't eaten anything again. Yesterday I didn't eat till 4, and I got
all day.
Yeah.
Melina.
And then I got drunk. Anyway, that's another story. But I went to Tucker's Burgers, and I'm like, I'm gonna be healthy and go to Tucker's Burgers and not get a bun.
Okay.
So I ate a bun.
Go to Tucker's Burgers.
And I got no bun because there was no bun. That's the healthy.
That's the healthy part of it.
That's the healthy. And,
of course.
And we did our last episode, and I was multitasking because that's what we have to do as women, as single moms. You know, we have to become masters of it if we want to fit in all the crap we want to do. And now we're just we were regretting the fact that we didn't video that episode because I looked like such a hot mess. Like it's a bunless burger, you know, so there's just like drippings everywhere.
It was beautiful.
And like my hands are just covered in it, and I used like 12 napkins while we were having the interview. And we really should have.
It was a work of art.
It was a really vulnerable moment for me. That would have been really great.
Yeah.
To have on camera. So we decided.
Here's another moment of multitasking. The cat is in Jack's room, and he does not want her in here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, I can't get her if she's under the bed.
Climb under the bed.
You'll have to throw her and then lock your door. See?
Those mom moments.
Just throw the cat.
Great.
Throw the cat out the door. The window, whatever.
Whatever. You do what you gotta do, right?
Yes.
So anyway, Summer just told this great story that I guess we'll tell twice. Because we put in our intro that we videoed a second ago.
Well, we can cut it out so the listeners
Yeah.
the second time.
But, yeah, tell her what the dude said.
Okay, so I was talking to this guy, which is my first mistake.
Always.
No more men.
I can't commit to that with a straight face. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Summer's like, yeah, that's not going to work for me.
It's not going to work for me. But at least I'm honest about that. I don't know.
She only fucks the ones she friend zones. That's what we've decided.
They're all friend zoned.
If I fucked you, you are now in the friend zone. If I take you seriously, I'm gonna keep talking to you. Saying.
So what he said was, so we were talking about like, I think it started with a conversation about like National Women's Women's Day or something. Because we were driving, so I think that was on the radio. And
International Women's Day?
Yes.
You're like, whatever.
You're like,
Women's Day thing.
It's been a long day. It's been a long life.
I get it, honey.
So he said something about, you guys are fighting so much for equality. Don't you realize that's going to be the death of chivalry? And I said, okay, what does that mean? And he's like, well, if we're all equal, why would we do stuff like hold the door open for you and things like that? And I thought about it for a moment, and I said, you know what? If you guys could just stop beating us and raping us and killing us, I'll hold my own goddamn door.
Yeah, no shit. For real.
And he got real quiet because I don't think men don't really understand.
He didn't think about that level of seriousness that goes along with wanting equality, and
I don't think that they understand what it's like for us to walk through life as women every day. because they don't have the same risk factors that we do or any of that. So I think they feel like it's isolated incidences that happen like way over there and not like everyday concerns for us.
Yeah, but they're things that we think about every day.
Right.
Because unfortunately we have to.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
You have to think about when you're walking alone somewhere or out by yourself somewhere or whatever. I mean, there's so many things.
Yeah.
And they don't think about that.
No.
It's not part of their reality.
And it's not just, I mean, that being a woman and dealing with violence is a common day risk, a common everyday risk. You know, it's not the only struggle that is unique to women. And I think we brought up this conversation because I had a soon-to-be family member, a female, state that on her Facebook page, I don't see the point of International Women's Day. Isn't every day, you know, human day? There's too many of these special days for people. And it was like, you're a woman, but apparently you've grown up very privileged. If you can't recognize that, I mean, I was just like floored that this was coming out of her mouth, and then I saw that she also had a support Trump's wall thing on her Facebook page. So then I was like, fuck.
You're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, we want equality and all things, and I also think that it's a day about celebrating other women, and women are fascinating and powerful and like amazing humans, you know. And have we always gotten the credit, or do we now get the credit that we deserve? No. No.
And that's like the point of the day is for us to take a pause and celebrate that, you know? Sure. And there's International Men's Day as well as her Facebook feed.
Every damn day.
Well, also known as the other 364 days in the year.
Yeah, it's called payroll day.
Yes.
Well, that was my point with her, and I was like, she's like, well, I don't understand why this is needed. And my response was, as a female minority in the legal profession, I get paid 72 cents on the dollar of my male counterpart who has the same experience and in the same position. Whenever that's equal, then I'll agree with you. You know, and then her response was like, well, that can really vary on the specialty that you choose. And I'm like, okay, but you're also not even realizing that the mere opportunity is part of the gender gap issue. It's not just the money. It's the mere opportunity. So it was just so myopic. I was bitching about this in the last episode. It just really pissed me off. And I mean, it's just, but that view, I mean, really negates all the struggles that we've had to go through to just get where we're at. And we're still not equal. So that's why we need International Women's Day. Jeez.
I think this would be complicated.
Seriously, I mean, most men I know are like, hell yeah, women, and then...
Well, obviously not the men I know, because I had to have that conversation.
Well, okay, maybe not
I'm talking to the wrong men.
Yeah, another time, Summer.
Maybe not all of them.
I'm going to have to start running people past you guys before I talk to them.
Oh, yeah, no. Brooke has control of my decision-making.
She's like, can you please just run my life for me? And I said, give me your username and password to your life.
What did I say? My username was what? Poor decision making number 34.
Yeah.
Password was save me.
Save me.
Sounds about right.
I screenshot that so I could save it forever.
Yay.
So what else has been going on with you guys?
I don't know.
She looks at me like I know what's happening. I don't know.
I'm not sure what day this is.
Oh my god, all day long I thought it was Wednesday. So I was in a blind panic for like the first 6 hours I was at work because I thought I was about to miss a deadline because I was a day early.
You know, I thought it was Wednesday as well. However, our office is closed on Wednesdays and I was at work, so I don't know exactly why I thought it was Wednesday, but I was really excited because I bought stuff online and it's supposed to be here on Thursday. So all day in my mind I was like, oh my gosh, my new shoes, my new this, my new that, it's all coming tomorrow. It's not, guys.
Aww, what a letdown.
Yeah, I know, it's some bullshit. I was looking forward to it.
Also a letdown that it's one day farther away from Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Although, I don't know how I'm gonna finish all the shit that needs to get done this week. We'll see.
I feel like we say that every week. I don't know how I'm gonna get it all done.
What's your mug say?
It says Oklahoma, but it's like really faded.
We have got
girl boss. I love it.
And your text messages are gonna be.
Oh shit, that's gonna be viewable.
Yeah.
I can't see them. This is bullshit.
I don't know what it was.
I don't either.
We'll find out together.
Whoever is texting Felina, you are now part of the video.
Yes.
Mine says the future is female.
We thought it was appropriate for this
Oh,
episode.
nice.
So what is something that has been a unique, to be a unique struggle for yourself because you were a woman?
You know, I feel like anything that has been a struggle because I'm a woman, there are things that I didn't think about them being a struggle even when they were, because I just wasn't brought up to think that I was any different or any less, because I was a woman, so it never occurred to me.
Like, it never occurred to you were working harder in the moment?
Yeah, no.
Right,
no.
I totally get that.
Yeah, no, it never did. I don't know. I mean, definitely, I will say something that felt and feels challenging is having been, prior to what I do now and being divorced and everything, I was a stay-at-home mom for a really long time with Jack. I never meant to stay at home. I always meant to go back to work. I found that I really enjoyed it and I was able to, and I feel really lucky that I was able to. I also feel like people didn't take me seriously in any other capacity because I stayed at home, which I think is kind of bullshit, since motherhood or just parenting in general is an extremely, hard thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's been kind of some bullshit,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of things. God. But I also grew up in a family of very, very strong women. Seminole women are considered we're some tough ladies. And I'm Seminole Creek and Choctaw. So those are very matriarchal societies. And so I also feel like I grew up around a lot of men and boys who would take me seriously. I don't know that I have anything in particular. I'm sure I do. But it's also weird because there are things that I deal with, that I've dealt with my entire life. So it's hard to honestly say.
Yeah.
It's kind of a way of life, which is sad.
No, that's a great point, though. And you said it earlier that, you didn't realize in the moment that you were, struggling, or, that there was a double standard because you were just used to working hard to get what you need to get done.
Right.
And it's only in hindsight, and I find this to be true in my life as well, that it's only in hindsight where I'm like, oh, I got here, and look at all of the hoops I had to jump through, and I'll meet a male counterpart, and they're like,
they didn't have to.
They didn't have to do any of that to get where he
to prove themselves.
Right. Yeah. And so
whatever it is.
Yeah, I've always just kind of done what needed to be done to take care of business, just like you said. But in the hindsight, it's. I think, again, that kind of goes back to why we should celebrate women, why we do deserve some recognition, because if we look back at that, you do see, look at the amazing women and all the hoops they had to get through just to get where they're at, and you're at the same place, and you didn't have to do any of that shit.
Right.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So
and they don't even realize that we had to go through all of that.
Well, and that goes back to our conversation on recognizing your own privilege,
Yeah.
Just realizing that, if you got somewhere pretty easily and your counterpart had to get there the hard way, recognize that,
Yeah.
Recognize your privilege.
Right. It doesn't diminish the work you did.
No.
It just means that some people had to go through a little bit more to get there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also believe in the power of speaking up for those people when you do see that.
Absolutely.
I don't think enough people do that. I have a family member. She is insanely brilliant, literal rocket scientist. Okay, she is a teacher, and for a long time, she was having to answer to the head of her department, who was a man, and all these things, and he was just giving her all the busy work. You take notes during these big meetings and all this stuff, and then finally, she's kind of
been there.
What, and finally somebody else, a man who has the same kind of job that she does, and she probably has a lot more experience than he does too. He finally stepped up and said, "Hey, actually, I'll do that. You make her do it all the time." I think that's important to when you see that happening, say something for yourself, say something for someone else. I feel like that's very, very important.
I just had an incident at work. I think I may have told you both separately that one of my bosses thought it was real funny to call me the intern.
No.
He's been doing it for a while. It was an ongoing joke, and I
made that comment on one of our episodes.
Like, I told him to his face, I was like, I don't find this joke funny anymore.
No.
Like, you need to move on to something else. And he just kept doing it, even though I was pretty blunt to his face, like, hey, stop doing this. And it took one of the partners to go have a separate conversation with him to just say, hey, like, I don't think Felina likes that joke. Like, she's pretty good humored and laid back, but like, you need to stop with that particular joke. She's worked real hard to get through law school, like, I'm not a fucking intern. I've been practicing law for over 5 years, and I may not have done trial work before, but I'm really fucking smart and I can handle this shit. And fuck off. Like, don't call me the intern.
That's still really disrespectful.
It was. And I was really glad that he said something. And
I probably would have dealt with it in a way that it's not as nice as ignoring it for as long as you did. I'd probably give him a nickname in return, like, the coffee guy, and then every time I see him, ask him to get me a cup of coffee or something like that, because I'm a jerk.
My supervisor at work keeps calling us kid. He calls all the women that he supervises kid.
Yeah, my boss calls me kiddo.
And I've told him, like, that's condescending and disrespectful, and you need to stop that. And he's like, I do it to everybody. I said, so you're being condescending and disrespectful to everybody.
Right, yeah.
So now
I'm just the one person who's telling you because
right. Yeah, and none of them like it. We've all had this conversation. So one of my coworkers, every time he calls her kid, she calls him dad. He's like, that makes me very uncomfortable. And she's like, well, if you call me kid, that's how this works.
That's pretty fun. See, yeah, that sounds.
See, this is why I need to let
kind of the way I would. I mean, but like where I work, and it's mostly all women who work there. We have the doctor who is the medical supervisor and everything. I mean, it's a man, and he's great. He's awesome, but it's all women, and I don't know. I mean, I have no idea how old everyone is. There aren't very many of us, but I'm definitely, if not the oldest, I'm one of the oldest. I don't go around calling everybody like kiddo. You know what I mean? No.
Right. Yeah.
No. We're equal. I have no idea.
Right.
And it's not a thing.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell I would ever do that to anyone. Like, ever.
Yeah, so I'll occasionally, he'll ask us to do something. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I need adult supervision for that if I'm a kid.
Yeah.
He doesn't find it funny. He started ignoring my jokes.
Yeah, I don't know. But it is nice. It was nice. I mean, I could have probably handled that in a sarcastic manner and gotten farther. That's why I need to let you handle my life.
My mother, she's been an attorney for decades, and she's very successful, and she is amazing at what she does. I could never imagine my mother referring to someone that works with her as kiddo.
No.
Or calling them the intern.
There's no way.
Yeah, I worked with your mother.
Yes.
So I was her subordinate. She did not call me kiddo.
No.
Or the intern?
No, or the intern, no. She was
very serious.
She was way more respectful to me than the men in the office.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm sure.
So tell us what happened with this person you were talking about, like how they change when you don't want to sleep with them.
Oh!
Tell us this. I haven't heard this yet.
Yeah, I posted. It was funny. I posted on Instagram that my current mood was tired of men treating me differently when they realize I won't sleep with them. When it was funny because I made it public, and then a friend of mine also shared it, and her sharing of my comment got 200 responses.
Wow.
Mine didn't get quite as many. But I mean, the story behind it was that I'm part owner of a medicinal marijuana company, and we had an event at one of our venues, and I was there with a partner in the business, and this other man showed up who had worked with our business in partnership before as a chef. We were talking about business, and there was an event, there was a concert going on, and this guy, I thought we were networking for business, and he had an event coming up and offered to book my band to play at a pretty good price for a private event. Right. As the evening went on, he proceeded to try and assert some sort of, he was trying to pursue me, and there was my business partner, he assumed that he was competition, so he was just doing things to make it, to ruin to cock block him. And
let's get real.
Yeah. And then he proceeded to try and text me the next few days, and
I remember.
And wanted me to go out with them, and he was always prefacing it with this is a networking thing. Let's talk shop or whatever, And then it was the tone of his messages, it was obvious that this was not all he was interested in, and I finally was just more blunt about any meeting he wanted. I was like, okay, well I'll include my business partner. So I'm like, okay, so me and this person.
It's a business meeting.
Yeah, we're gonna talk shop. I'm gonna bring him too. And he didn't want to do it anymore, And then all of a sudden the show that he had booked for me wasn't available anymore. And because he realized I didn't want to sleep with him. And so there goes that opportunity.
Well, bye.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not a lost opportunity for sure.
No. So.
That's messed up.
Yeah, and I know that I'm certain that is a pretty commonality for women in business, women who are trying to network or, tit for tat. Okay, well, what can my business do for you? Not, you don't get to sleep with me so that I can that's a form of prostitution. I'm not going to sleep with you so I can have this show. I'm not going to enter.
And even if you're paying cash, I'm not. But we're not mixing business with this.
It's not even just
it's got to be on my terms.
Yes.
And to say just sleeping with them is the only motivation. It's not. I mean, and men seem to think that, okay, well, I'm not making her sleep with me, that's enough. No, you're still prefacing your opportunity based on receiving a certain kind of attention from me. It's
still coercive.
Right. It is.
Because you're leveraging that.
Yeah, okay, well, even if I never sleep with you, I still want you to come and make me feel good about myself and stroke my ego, fulfill this for me, and then I'll give you, flirt with me and be seen with me, and then I'll give you what it is that you want. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's gross.
What kind of person?
It is gross.
What kind of person wants to do that?
Gross.
It's
ugh.
I'm
not, and I'm not saying it's just women, because it's not, but a lot of people will do anything to.
No, well, I meant the other way. What kind of person wants to do?
An asshole.
Right, wants to do that to people. That's the
an asshole.
That's the alarm that tells me that the current episode of the podcast is going up.
Go check it out.
Go watch it, share it.
Was that the life update one?
Yes. I did get the picture of me on the scooter.
What picture did you use of me?
No, of me on the scooter. That's what you asked me to get.
I don't remember.
Big kids. Take a picture.
Oh, that's right.
I had to ride a little electric scooter around for a couple weeks because I didn't have a car.
Oh my God, I love you.
And we did a life update episode last time, and I was like, Summer, can your kids take a picture of you on the cart?
Yes, so we did.
So that's the cover.
So it went up just now.
I'm pumped.
So go watch it when we're done.
I know exactly what I'm doing when we're done.
You can contact the podcast at brokebrokenpodcast@gmail.com. The Broken Podcast can be found on Twitter @BrokeBrokenShow, on Instagram and Facebook @BrokeBrokenPodcast.